Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections for Monday, October 5th. Before getting to today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. Three plays to recap. We ended up getting a win on yesterday's play of the day with the Storm first half -4.5, which was available on FanDuel at -104. They ended up leading by, I believe it was 6. They ended up winning the game by double digits to the best team in the WNBA. Not really that close, so it was a nice winner there. We also won with the Ravens first half -6.5, which was available on BetMGM at -115. Even if he got 7.5, didn't really matter, as Washington ended up trailing by 10 at the half. And the one loser we had in the NFL, we had Kenny Golladay over 63.5 receiving yards, which was available on FanDuel at -110. And unfortunately, he ended up with 62. So he ended up falling 2 yards short. Pretty unfortunate. It was still a solid spot with New Orleans missing their two starting cornerbacks. But unfortunately, Golladay went through a bit of a cold spell, had 15 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter, and then did pretty much nothing for about 2 straight quarters before finally heating up again towards the back end of the third quarter. Ended up with 62. Pretty unfortunate. But either or, ended up going 2-1. Nice day. And now we're going to be looking at an NFL matchup between the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we're going to be looking at a player prop here in this matchup. Now, I know there's supposed to be one Monday night game. Now there's two because of some COVID issues with the Patriots, specifically Cam Newton. So for that reason, the Chiefs are currently favored by 10.5 in comparison to the 7 that they were favored beforehand, because Brian Hoyer will be getting the start for New England. Now, instead of trying to guess how Hoyer is going to do in the start, I'm going to be looking at Kansas City, and we're going to be looking at a player prop involving their starting running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And the play that we're going to be going with is on Bet Online. It's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 27.5 receiving yards, which is available on Bet Online at -114, a time recording of 3:44 a.m. Eastern Time. And a couple reasons why I like Helaire here on the over in receiving yards. First of all, each of the last 2 weeks, he has caught at least 5 passes, and he ended up having 32 receiving yards against the Chargers, and he had 70 receiving yards against the Ravens last week. So the Chiefs have slowly but surely started to incorporate him more into the passing game. 70 receiving yards is definitely nothing to scoff at. And based on the fact that New England is known defensively for trying to take away team strengths, I expect them to try to do whatever they can to stop Tyreek and or Kelsey, and to force Mahomes to try to not beat them over the top, but to throw some dump-off passes and to slowly, methodically move the ball downfield. Will that work? Probably not. I don't really know. But either or, I still think that Helaire at this number is a little bit too low, considering the fact that he's been playing more and more snaps for each week. Week 3, for example, he ended up playing the highest percentage of snaps in his entire career. He ended up playing in 69% of the offensive snaps, and the second highest percentage was 21. Based on the actual numbers, Helaire played 52 offensive snaps. The second highest running back was 16. So Helaire is more than tripling the amount of opportunities than any other running back on the actual roster. And based on the fact they did 130-plus all-purpose yards against the Ravens last week, I expect them to continue using him for the bulk of the touches. Helaire is a threat to take a screen pass, I'd say 20-plus yards. Plus, he also has the ability to be spread out wide and to be used in the passing game, kind of like what he did in LSU in college. And I think that New England, despite having a decent linebacking core, I don't think we'll be able to keep up with Helaire in an open space. I think that they will be so preoccupied with Kelsey and with Hill that there should be a decent amount of opportunities open underneath for Helaire. New England, even though they have been pretty good against running backs based on, from a fantasy perspective, you want to actually look at how they've done against pass-catching running backs, they really have not done that well. Every single running back besides Jordan Howard, who had 1 rushing touchdown and 8 carries and no receptions, every other running back they faced, which is 5 of the 6 running backs that New England has faced up to this point, has had at least 2 receptions, and 4 of the 6 have had at least 3 receptions. So they have done a pretty poor job when it comes to preventing opposing running backs out of the back from catching passes. And I do think that Helaire, who has been used increasingly in the passing game, should find enough open spaces to end up breaking this low total of 27.5. I think this one should be closer to 34, potentially 35, maybe even higher, just based on his recent results. But he goes for 70 last week, and now it's being dropped down to 27.5. I'm going to take that. So the play of the day, once again, here for Monday, October 5th, is going to be on Clyde Edwards-Helaire to have over 27.5 receiving yards, which is available on Bet Online at -114. That's been the installment of Scott's Selections. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.